All right, well, my tooth bar come in from everything attachments. This thing's pretty sharp. It came with 2 bolts on either side. I got the other one in my hand here. And then it also came with the bolts on the bottom. Now, I went ahead and set the bucket down on jack stands just because working in the hydraulic field, I don't put a whole lot of faith and trust and confidence in the cylinders on these small tractors. All right, well, let's grab a couple wrenches, a hole saw, and let's get to it. All right, tools I'm going to need to install a tooth bar on the bucket there: hole saw, drill, some sort of crescent wrench. Here I have an F wrench, center punch, hammer, and then for the nut side of the hardware, use a 1 1/16 6-point impact socket, and as well as impact gun. All right, first impressions, this thing's heavy as shit. This thing's pretty heavy. So I got them on there, the tooth bar on there, and as you can see, it slides right on up against the bucket. Right, and then over here on this side, so you got a little bit of a stick out here, but I'm not worried about that. It slides here, it's got a nice little curvature here, follows the curve of the bucket a little bit, and then slides on back this way. Now, you get them on here, you're gonna need to get a hammer. I got an old dead blow right here. Tap it on the edge here to get it sunk in against the bucket. And then from here, I'm gonna make a mark, probably against the back, and then take a hole saw and then cut out a hole and mount my bolts. So far, these are super sharp. I didn't realize how sharp they were until I went to go pick it up and put it on the bucket. So be mindful of that. But overall, pretty happy with the outcome of it. All right, as you can see, took the center punch and I made a little mark there. I'm gonna take a 3/4 inch hole saw and drill a hole through and then make sure the bolt fits. If it doesn't fit, then we'll adjust from there. But we'll do it on one side, put the bolt in, tighten it down loosely, and then ensure that this side is flush as far as it can go back, and do the same thing over here. All right, so we just got done drilling a hole out there, as you can see there. And moment of truth here. Get this back in here. Fits like a charm. Look at that, 3/4 inch hole saw. Fits like a charm. No need to adjust it or recut the threads or anything like that. All right, now we're gonna do the other side. All right, so as you can see, I went ahead and put the bolt in and snugged her down, not super tight, but snugged her down enough to where this side shouldn't move that much. Now when you get the bolt, it's only going to come with one washer, one lock nut, than the bolt itself. I went ahead and put another washer on there just because I had it, and I figured why not. It's not gonna hurt anything. All right, so now on this side, what we'll end up doing is, now as you can see, there's that gap. All right, it created a little bit of a gap. And the reason why I'm leaving it loose on this side is that when I tap this side in with a hammer, it should stay closely or suck up against the front blade of the bucket. And then drill my hole in here, put the bolt in, tighten her down, and then give it one final tap on either side. And as I do that, tighten the bolts up on both sides to ensure that the cutting blade is flush up against the bucket blade. All right, so just like this side, the other side there, I went ahead and put a hole in there, and as you can see, the gap's still there. Okay, so now I'm gonna take the rubber mallet here and give it a couple taps. Now, that gap is closed up, as well as the hole is now centered there. Gap's closed, 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 closed. So we're good. Now, all I need to do now is put the bolt in. Snug it up, give it a couple more taps, snug this side, come back, snug this side, alternating back and forth to ensure that the tooth bar sinks up against the blade and it doesn't tighten and doesn't cause it to create a small gap. That's all I'm trying to do. Just ensure that it sits flush up against the bucket. All right. All right, well, it is installed. Probably took around 30 minutes or so, give or take. Bolts are in. It's in there. It's flushed. It's all flush up against those tines there. And not bad. Easy, pretty easy install, straightforward. Now, it did come with these 6 extra bolts, these cage bolts, carriage bolts. Now they go underneath the underside of it. So if later down the road, if I feel like that I need a little bit more support, then I'll go back and drill holes into the bottom of the bucket on the actual cutting blade itself and put those bolts in. But honestly, putting how well this thing fits like a glove, I think those 2 bolts along with these welded supports here is basically all you need. All right guys, well, that was the unboxing really review and install video, and hopefully I'll get to put this thing in use here soon and get you a video about how I feel, how I think it works. All right guys, appreciate it.